accessing this video, chances are you're trying to figure out how to work with Mesowest for our Module 3 activity. So I'm going to guide you through that real quick, and then you can then jump in and do the activity. So this is the Mesowest homepage found at mesowest.utah.edu. And over here on the left-hand side, there's a series of different links, and on the very top there's this search engine for various stations. Now, in the station search, click on the drop-down menu, and as you can see, you can look for stations via quite a few different ways. You can look via an address, a zip code, latitude and longitude, city, state, county, state, station name, station ID, and so on. Now, for the purpose of this activity, I'm going to have us specifically look at a specified weather station. So I'm going to choose station ID, but if you ever want to look at this on your own and access the data on your own, you can choose any of those. You can choose your home zip code and look at the weather stations near there, or anywhere really that you want to, anywhere in the continental United States. And we'll be using Mesowest at least a few times this quarter. So get used to it. All right. Now, once we pick station ID, I'm going to input an airport, and I'm going to specifically put in Mineta San Jose International Airport. Its station ID is KSJC. K is the first initial that we use in most major United States airports. SJC is the 3-digit airport code, the one that you usually use when you book airplane tickets and so on. But for San Jose International, KSJC is what we're looking at. Okay, once you do that, hit enter. And when you hit enter, it'll actually take you to a web page showing you massive amounts of data for San Jose International Airport. It'll show you current temperature, dew point, wet bulb temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, wind direction, pressure, altimeter, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to play around with some of this throughout the course of this quarter. But for now, we're not going to worry too much about this. What I want you to do is actually go over to change date and time. And then what you're going to do is you're going to actually pick a time, or well, I'm actually going to pick a time for you. And we're going to look at a particular day. So what we can actually do is archive or gather archived data that Mesowest is holding on and has been holding on to since 1997. So we have about 20 years of available weather data here. We can have all of our units in English, our local time, the date that we want to choose, and the time that we want to choose. Now, one thing I should mention is the times here are done in what are called military time. So instead of using a 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., so on clock, they use a 0 to 24 hour clock. 0 is 12 a.m., 13 is 1 p.m., 14 is 2 p.m., and so on. So basically, count it like you would any other clock. Just instead of going back to 1, go to 13, then 14, 15, and so on. I'm actually going to have us click on the 0 o'clock. And let's pick a day pretty recently. I'm going to do, let's see here. Today, I'm recording this on the 30th. Let's do the 28th, just to do it. All right? And then click submit, and what will actually pop up is all of the information on that particular day. What the temperature was, dew point, wet bulb, everything. It'll give you the high temperature for the day, low temperature for the day, all of the different weather data that you need. So you can actually access a lot of pretty useful information here. Now, if you're like me, staring at a table probably isn't the best way to look at data. And in fact, even for meteorologists, staring at a table isn't really useful. So what we like to do is we like to look at graphical displays. Well, you can now go over here to this left-hand map, click on Change to Graphical Display. And what do you see here? You actually see a graph showing you changes in air temperature. And that's not the only thing they'll show you changes in. They'll also show you changes in wind and wind speed, wind direction, and so on. For the purpose of today's assignment, I actually want us to look at this graph up here. So we're not going to go down and look at wind or worry about wind. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to click on this drop-down menu next to variables. Go down to temperature and moisture, and then click Change Graph. And here's what you'll get. You'll get a graph showing you three different things. The green line shows you relative humidity, and you can see relative humidity archived here and displayed on this graph. And this is the axis for relative humidity. The red line here is air temperature, and the blue line here is dew point temperature. And one of the things I want you to notice is that dew point temperature doesn't really change much over this time. But look at how temperature and relative humidity change relative to each other. It's a very important relationship I want you guys to understand between air temperature and relative humidity. But anyway, that's enough for now. I'm going to have you guys do this for a few different days and then report your findings on today's activity. All right, so that's it. And best luck on this activity. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, mullinsterrence@fhda.edu. And I look forward to hearing from you soon.